What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, I want to react to a video that I came across, and this video is called "The Exact Reason Why Kobe Was Assassinated." Right now, before I get into this video, I want to say that uh back in the days, but like in a Roman Empire days, people used to they used to take the prisoners and throw them in the ring and make them compete against each other. They used to throw them in the ring and make them in the arena and make them compete against animals, and so you had to fight to survive, right? And it's looking more and more like the NBA and the NFL is more and more just like that, right? Not in the sense that athletes have to fight each other. They compete against each other in a sport. But the world that is surrounding these athletes is just so evil, right? That it's almost like this is like a high tech. This is a high tech gladiator battle when you look at basketball and football, because of the things that go on around it. Most people, when we watch basketball, we just see like what's going on the court. We don't take the business aspect of it. We don't look at the political aspect of it. You know, and how most professional athletes, when they finish playing basketball, most of these guys within 5 years end up being broke and don't have any money, right? I think they say like a 95% chance of these guys don't even, they wind up being broke. And so when people wind up being broke, they attribute that to financial, excuse me, financial illiteracy. When financial illiteracy, in my opinion, do play a part in it, but I just think it's designed like that, right? They used to promise these guys who fought in those gladiator battles, they used to promise those guys money and freedom. Just like they promise these professional athletes today, they promise you money and freedom, but the system is designed to today is to take that money back. And you can't have, and you don't have your freedom is limited. As long as you are on that hamster wheel and you running, you'll have access to the money, you'll have access to the house and the cars and the women, and all the perks and the amenities that come with having that money. But it's all temporary, right? For the most part, as soon as these guys finish playing their sport, a lot of these guys end up broke, and that's by design, right? And so, and it's the way it's set up, the system gets to blame it on the athlete. Financial illiteracy, right? Poor business skills, like failed businesses. You hear that with almost every athlete, no matter what their financial status is. You hear that with them, after their career. Oh, they had these failed business ventures, right? So it's all a setup. So, but we don't really, like I said, as sports fans, we mainly focus on what we see, and that is on the court. Now, Kobe Bryant. This video I'm gonna play right here. The audio from this video I'm gonna play. It goes into why this person thought that Kobe might have been, eliminated. Right now, it's all speculation, and it all makes for good content. But just think about this: Kobe Bryant was the kind of person who was he was a tough guy. You know what I mean? And so if a demonic spirit was trying to control Kobe and trying to get Kobe to do certain things, and Kobe wouldn't listen, Kobe, I think was a number one. He was an arrogant guy. He was a tough guy, and he stood on principles. And these are the kind of people I think that are, that are really eliminated, right? So keep that in mind when you're listening to this video. And also, I want to say that Michael Jordan and LeBron James are very much aware of like these demonic forces and what goes on with these demonic forces, and they may try to they may not stand up against these demonic forces in a way that Kobe did, right? Because I think Michael Jordan, he experienced firsthand. A lot of people think he experienced firsthand what these forces are capable of. People say that his father was part of a sacrifice oath, right, or ritual. Um, LeBron James sees what's going. He saw what went on with Kobe, and he understands it. He knows, right, what these demonic forces will do if you step out of line, right? And so, with that in mind, keep that in mind. So, I'm gonna play this video, and then I'm gonna come back and give some more of my input.
That Kobe Bean Bryant was scheduled to go to court had he lived 3 days after he was taken out on the 26th of January 2020. He was scheduled to be at the Los Angeles Superior Court on the 29th on that Wednesday had he lived. So with Kobe in Colorado, Caitlin Faber, okay, she invites him, and let's go up to your room. That's not her job. Her job is not to go up to Kobe's room. Her job was a host at the Cordelia Hotel that at the time was owned by the Prisker family at the time out of Chicago. So she cries rape. Okay. And don't get me wrong, if Kobe was guilty, he should have been sent to prison. I have no problem. She doesn't call the police. She doesn't call the sheriff's department. She doesn't even call home to her parents. She goes to her boyfriend's house and has sex that night, wearing the same dress with Kobe's DNA on it.
You're not going to have sex after you've been raped.
After you've been, right. So someone's lying. Either Kobe's lying, she's lying. So wait a minute. She doesn't call the police. She doesn't call the sheriff's department. She doesn't call the executives of the hood, and she doesn't even call her parents, who are Phi Beta Kappa, good friends with Dr. Richard Stedman, Kobe's knee doctor. Next day, she goes home, and her parents say, "Where have you been?" "I've been raped." "By who?" "Kobe Bryant." "Okay, dollar signs now." They arrest Kobe Bryant the following day, Eagle, Colorado. An attorney is given to Kobe by Dr. Jerry Buss, who also gave Kobe this knee doctor, Phi Beta Kappa, Dr. Richard Stedman. The lawyer's name is Pamela Mackey. Pamela Mackey's law firm represents Harvey Weinstein. Pamela Mackey's law firm also represents R. Kelly. Pamela Mackey's law firm is doing the legwork for the Diddy case, even though they don't represent Diddy, but they're doing the legwork as far as the legal background work of what happened, okay, and as to why the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security raided his homes, okay. So Pamela Mackey is Phi Beta Kappa. So is Kobe's knee doctor, Dr. Richard Stedman, Phi Beta Kappa. So is the parents of Caitlin Faber, Phi Beta Kappa. So Kobe.
All right, so before you continue, let me just say this too, right? A lot of times you'll see with professional athletes, and you see it with LeBron, and you see it with Michael Jordan. When you come into this type of fame and this type of fortune, certain people, like people that come into your life and come into your circle and your surroundings, they are not there just like by happenstance, right? People, these people come in, they can come into your life and they seem like it might have been like by chance they come into your life, but these people are put in your life. You heard this gentleman say that Dr. Jerry Buss, the former owner, the late Jerry Buss, the guy who used to own the Lakers, introduced Kobe to, this guy, this financial guy, right? And also a knee doctor. So, and just think about it. Jerry Buss is an old guy who has been out in California for years. And so they introduce you to these people and they put these people in your circle. And these people are designed to steer you a certain way and also to, your hand is there to control you. But also remember, Kobe Bryant was a very headstrong and arrogant person, right? And there was one guy. It was a guy who, Kobe tried to stay away from this certain guy and didn't want to even be in this guy's presence. I forgot. It's a guy who he's on at the Laker games on the sidelines all the time. Real eerie looking guy, right? And Kobe he wanted nothing to do with this guy. And so Kobe wanted, and Kobe didn't want to, have anything to do with him. But sometimes like I said, once you on the map like Kobe, Mike, and LeBron, you don't have any choice behind these guys. And then when it comes to LeBron James, we see Rich Paul out there speaking and stuff like that. But there's some people behind the scenes running the show that we that we don't even see when it comes to these guys. And I think, as I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this guy put together, all the different connections between, these people and all that stuff. Maybe some of it's true. Like maybe it was all a setup, or maybe it's, or maybe it's a reach. But all I know is Kobe Bryant is not here, and the circumstances surrounding the reason why he's not here are suspicious, right? So I would just go on that. I mean, for my own it's interesting to hear people, this man when he talk about the reasons why he think Kobe is not here. But when you think about it, when you look at Kobe, like tragedy always seemed to strike not just basketball players, black basketball players, black athletes, black public figures. Tragedy always seemed to strike them, us, right? And so that can't be a coincidence. When you think about Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Prince, Sam Cooke, what's the guy that was so many different black athletes and black professionals, and like tragedy always seemed to strike. And the public, I think, is aware of this, but to a certain extent, some people are really just oblivious when it comes to this kind of thing. And so, like I said, when I'm listening to people like this, I'm not criticizing them, but this could be true, or it could be, it could be off base. But all I know is, and you go by what you see, and look at the history of like what happens to high profile athletes and entertainers and stuff like that, and how tragedy seem to strike them. You know what I mean? And it's always a part of the narrative, when it comes to the African American community, right? I made a video about how single mothers affect the decisions that professional athletes make, right? And I think the single moms affect the decisions, and they steer their kids into reacting to these situations in a different way, right? And by that I mean, not because you have a single mother or because you have a father in your life, don't mean that you're not going to be someone who faces these evil forces in life, right? But I think the way you go about handling them and reacting to them, as coming from a situation where you had two parents or your father in your life, you'll handle it different, right? And so that's some of what I'm gonna be looking at in my videos, like how athletes who come from two-parent households, like how they handle these situations, because they're dealing with the same situations. It's just that they handle them different, right? And so, but with LeBron James and Michael Jordan, I think they are well aware of this what happens to professional athletes who, and actors and entertainers who speak power to truth and stand up. You know what I mean? And so a lot of these decisions, I think right now that LeBron James are making publicly, I don't even think these decisions are his. I think that LeBron James is tired and don't want to play basketball anymore. That's why I think, I mean, he's sporting this gray beard because he wants people to publicly to say, man, he want there to be a public outcry, but he can't say it. But he want there to be a public outcry so people can say, you know what, he need to step away. I recently saw a video. Um, it's crazy, man. Like, you do not get to walk off and ride off into the sunset. I recently saw a video of Gladys Knight performing, man, and she looked like nowhere in the world at her age Gladys Knight should still be performing, um, you know, touring at her age, man. She gotta be. Gladys Knight has to be in her 80s. Go look at, look up Gladys Knight, touring and stuff like that, man. It's just a shame, but you cannot. And I'm going by what I see and what's obvious. You can't get off of that Ferris wheel, And so if somebody like Gladys Knight can't, she has to work into her 80s. It's they, it's crazy. It's crazy. I like I said, I just got a somebody just sent me a message, and I didn't know, maybe a lot of people feel like this. But a guy just left me a message on one of my videos, and he just said that he is so glad that he was not good enough, or he didn't have the opportunity to play professional basketball, right? Because, like I said, you end up with nothing at the end 95% of the time. And then, you have to deal with these demonic forces and stuff like that. They take a lot of the love and the fun out of the game. When you start to play professional basketball, even college basketball, the love and the fun is out of it. And now, once you get on that hamster wheel, man, you on there for the rest of your life. And so that's my take on it. Keep that in mind. Like whatever LeBron James is going through, Michael Jordan is going through, and they understand. People don't understand that. A lot of people, used to say, "Well, be like Mike." That was the pitch phrase or the catchphrase. If I could just be like Mike. And like I said, people who are wise and know better, wish that, and are thanking their lucky stars that they, don't be like Mike, man. You don't want to be like Mike. Not for, what I mean? And he's a billionaire, but I definitely would not want to be dealing with what him and LeBron are dealing with, man. So that's my take on it. I just wanted to play a little bit of that video, and people go into conspiracy theories, but I basically go about like the history and what I see when it comes to Black athletes and entertainers, right? All this stuff about the Phi Beta and their connection here, and drawing putting together this big map and stuff like that. It's right out in front of our face. It's even more simpler than that. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment, and I'm gonna check y'all out in the next video. Peace.